The Empire tried to kill me. Their betrayal demands consequence.
What's up, everybody? So, Maul Shadow Lord is around the corner. It comes out on April 6th. And the premise for the show, right, is that around a year after the Clone Wars, former Sith Lord Maul rebuilds his criminal syndicate and seeks a new apprentice on the planet Janix during the reign of the Galactic Empire. So I figured for my TV video, why not go to the Clone Wars, recap it for you in case you haven't seen it or it's been a while, and then I get to talk about my favorite Star Wars character. All right, so this is going to be a recap video for the Clone Wars, just so we're clear. Spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the Clone Wars for some reason and you don't want to be spoiled, but I also feel like if you're going to go into the show without knowing what's going on, you're also going to be lost. So I don't know. Up to you. You have free will. As you know, Darth Maul, right? Episode 1, Phantom Menace, kills Qui-Gon, gets chopped in half, even though he has the high ground, falls down a hole, right? Clone Wars, specifically the 3D one. We go to the planet of Dathomir, right? That is where Maul is from. There are basically two groups. There are the warriors and there are the witches. The witches use the Force more in like magic, like Harry Potter style, as opposed to like the Jedi who kind of use it like superpowers. And basically there's a head witch called Mother Talzin, and Maul has a brother from the warrior tribe. His name is Savage. Savage has his own story. We don't need to get into that. Basically, his life doesn't go the way he thought it was going to go. He comes back home. He's like, Mother Talzin, what do I do next? I'm lost. Help me out. She goes, don't worry, I got you. Gives him a little magic necklace. It's like, go find your brother Maul. He's still alive, right? So he ends up going to this planet that is basically like a giant landfill. You can see like giant robots in the background just like spitting out like lava and like eating trash. And he runs into this talking snake alien. He's like, oh, you're looking for Maul? Yeah, I know that guy. Come on, let's go over here. And so he tricks him and he tries to kill Savage. And Savage isn't with that. So he kills him and he ends up finding Maul in a hole. He has like his horns are like overgrown. He looks disheveled. His bottom half is connected to a giant robot spider.
No. You are the brother I've been searching for. No.
This is a reference to the old EU. So this is, if it sounds dumb, it's just like, hey, if you know, you know, type thing. Savage has the necklace and he's like, oh, look, kind of like shiny jingling keys. Come with me. And he leads them on the ship. And then they go back to Dathomir, right? So they go back to Mother Talzin. She's like, don't worry, I got this. She like knocks him out with the magic. She does this thing that I wish was real and I would pay for, where she like reaches into his head, pulls out this bubble, which is, I guess is his mind, and it's just full of shadows moving around in there, and she just grabs him and pulls him out, throws him away, and then she puts his mind back, and now he is back to normal. His horns are normal, his face is all cleaned up. Instead of the spider legs, she like uses her magic to give him like rooster legs. Again, this is another shout out to the old EU. So this is another like, if you know, you know, but it's stupid. And the spider one is stupid too. I'm gonna put that here. So yeah, he is back to normal. And Savage is like, yo, brother, it's me. Long time no see. Like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I got big revenge plans, homie. Like, we got to start some shenanigans. And so they go out and they start doing some shenanigans. And things aren't looking good. And there's like a video feed and he's like, I'm looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Tell him I want the ones.
There will be more innocent blood on your hands, Kenobi. Unless you come here, face me. Come alone, and if you do not, this world will burn.
And Yoda and Mace are like, yo, didn't you kill this guy in like the first movie? And he's like, I totally killed that guy in the first movie. And they're like, well, something weird's going on. You should probably go check it out. So he goes to check it out. He doesn't know that there's two of them. So Maul and Savage knock him out, bring him to the ship, and they're just beating his ass. And so they're whooping him. Things aren't looking good, right? Now Savage, based on stuff he did in his story, has a bounty on his head, and he gets picked up by a bounty hunter, specifically Asajj, who used to be on the dark side. And so she goes to claim the bounty, sees that Obi-Wan's getting beat, teams up with him. They're able to hold off the brothers enough for the two of them to escape. And then the brothers are like, all right, I guess we'll just like let them go for now. But don't worry, revenge is around the corner. Maul comes up with a new plan. Next time we meet them, they are robbing a bank, essentially. You know, Savage is like, all right, what's the plan? What are we doing here? We should just like kind of keep the money and just like keep robbing banks. And Maul's like, you're thinking small, my apprentice. Like, you don't get what we're doing here. And he's like, I'm your brother, I'm not your apprentice. And he's like, know your place, all right? You are beneath me. And so I'm just like, oh yeah. And they have a little brotherly fight, and Maul whoops him real quick.
So, it is time for a lesson.
And he's like, what the hell? Like, you were like babbling like last week. He's like, yeah, exactly. Like, know your place, bow beneath your master. And he's like, I'm sorry, master. He's like, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build an army real quick, and we're gonna start some shenanigans. And so they find some pirates, and they're like, listen, we got money, we got power, you team up with us, and you know, we're gonna do no good. And half the pirates are like, all right, we're in, and the other half of the pirates are like, nah, we're out. So the pirates split, and there seems like there's gonna be trouble. Now the captain of the pirates, Hanzo, I believe his name is, or maybe it's something else, whatever, is Hondo Anaka. I don't like that guy. Point is, I'm pretty sure he calls up Obi-Wan and he's like, yo, we got some weirdos with some lightsabers. This feels like it's your jurisdiction. Come handle this for me. And so Obi-Wan and a side Jedi, I don't even care to look up her name because she dies in like 30 seconds. They show up to, you know, stop the brothers. They split off to do a fight, Obi-Wan versus Maul. Random Jedi versus Savage. She dies in like 30 seconds. And so it is the two brothers against Obi-Wan. And meanwhile, in the background, you got the pirates fighting each other, right? So Obi-Wan, it seems like he can't handle himself, but he did manage to get the other Jedi's lightsaber. And then he pulls out two of them and he starts handling the business, all right? And so as the pirates are fighting, the captain's like, yo, wait. Time out. Listen, they're getting beat by one dude. We don't have to fight each other. What we could do is if you guys bend the knee and come back under my leadership, we'll just jack their stuff and then we keep all the money. And the pirates are like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. And so they all become one, and they're like, let's go get it. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan, he like chops off Savage's like arm, his robot arm, and he chops off one of Maul's legs. So they're like limping away, like we gotta get out of here, because also the pirates are now attacking them. So they're running for their lives. They manage to make it to the ship. They're flying away. One of the pirates is like, oh hell no, pulls out a bazooka, basically hits the ship, and the ship is going to crash, but they are able to detach the cockpit and float off into space. And that seems like the end of that story for now, but there's still more to come. All right, so for whatever reason, Obi-Wan and the pirates don't follow up, even though I feel like it would be clear to just kind of like go out in space and be like, oh, there they are, and then just blow them up. But they just let them float in space, and then eventually they're found by a group of Mandalorians led by Pre Vizsla, right? And they're like, oh, we should just, you know, his right hand's like, we should just leave them out here. He's like, nah, they look strong, they look like they can help us out with, you know, our own plans. So heal him up, get Savage a new arm, get Maul some regular legs and some new clothes. Now he looks normal. All right, listen, we need your guys' help. All right, we're trying to take back the planet of Mandalore. Mandalore used to be a planet of warriors, right? And now it's a time of peace. And Pre Vizsla and his group don't like that. They like when they were a warrior clan, a warrior planet. And so he's like, my group, you two strong Sith, we go in there, take everything by force. What do you think? Maul's like, that's stupid.
Your people are strong and skilled, but you will need an army to free Mandalore.
There are more on Mandalore who will join us.
Their help would come too late. We can assemble an army, beginning with the Black Sun.
They're a crime syndicate, hardly a force to rally with.
They can provide us with the resources we need to sustain a war without the scrutiny of the Republic.
And so this is where they started building their crime syndicate. And again, this is a kid show, so this part was crazy because they the first one they go to, they're like, "Yo, join us," and they're like, "Nah," and they're like, "Okay." And so Savage throws his lightsaber and chops off the dude's head, or pretty much everyone's head except for one guy. And he's like, "Well, what do you think about that?" He's like, "You know what? I reconsidered. I think we should be in." And so you get some other groups that show up and like, "Yo, we heard you're doing some stuff. We want to join." And so the army's built. We're doing good. They execute the plan. Shenanigans on Mandalore. The Mandalorians show up. Yay, Pre Vizsla, he saved the day. Let's get rid of the Duchess because peace sucks. Everything's good in the neighborhood.
Your oversight requires correction. We now have a base, an army, and the means to expand to other neutral systems.
It wasn't an oversight. It was intentional. I don't have an interest in the other systems. Your vision no longer matters.
So, thanks for your help, but also, fuck you, I guess. Peace. And so Maul's like, all right, I gave him a chance, and he wanted to betray me, so I guess we gotta do things the hard way. And while he's there, the former, I guess former mayor or whatever, former guy that was in charge in the next cell, and he's like, I feel like you guys need a patsy, and I got nothing going on, so you want to let me out of here? I am all yours. And they're like, all right, cool. So they break him out. They walk themselves to the throne room or whatever you want to call it, and before things are about to get dicey, Maul's like, hey, I challenge you to a trial by combat, 1v1. You know the rules, and so do I. And so Pre Vizsla's like, all right, let's do it. And what's so sick about this fight, and I forget where I heard this, but if you watch the fight, you'll see that Darth Maul doesn't use, or I guess it's just Maul at this point, doesn't use any of his powers. He literally just beats him using his physical skills of just rolling and dodging out the way, throwing punches and kicks and knees and stuff like that. And Pre Vizsla uses all of his stuff, like the flamethrower, the rocket on his back, the jetpack itself. He's using all the tricks in his arsenal as a Mandalorian, and none of it works. And Maul gets the better of him. He takes the darksaber, which is a black lightsaber, and chops off, Pre Vizsla's head. And even before he dies, he's like, survival of the strongest or whatever. And of course, this ends up causing a Black Panther moment where, even though they set up the rules of hey, whoever wins is technically in charge, the Mandalorians, half of them are like, yo, you're not a Mandalorian. We can't let this slide. And the other half are like, this is the way, and they bend the knee. And so the ones that don't like the new rule kind of fight their way out. And the other ones are, they bend the knee to Maul. Now, the Duchess of Mandalore tries to escape, sends out a little message to Obi-Wan, because they kind of have like a situationship thing going on. And she's like, help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. And because Mandalore is like Switzerland, it's like neutral, they can't really send in, a whole battalion or whatever of people to help out. So Obi-Wan got to go solo. So he goes solo, beats up a Mandalorian, I think, and gets their armor, makes it to the throne room. But Maul already knew this was happening. So he gets there. He's like, oh, I got your girl. You think I wouldn't find out? Of course, I know everything about you, Obi-Wan. I've been obsessed with you because I need that revenge. By the way, what do you think about this? And he kills her. And, Obi-Wan's like, no, my baby girl. And he is forced to escape. We find out that the right hand of the Mandalorian group was actually the Duchess's sister. And so they kind of fight their way out, get Obi-Wan back to his ship. And she's like, tell the Republic what's going on here, that we need help. And he's like, oh, sorry about your sister. And she's like, we'll deal with it. But we need, send the message and go out. So while that is happening, we get one of the sickest fights ever. So Darth Maul is in the throne room. He's with his brother. He got 2 Mandalorian guards with him. And he's just like, yo, something don't feel right. I don't feel good. And he's like, what's wrong? He's like, I just haven't, I'm feeling something. And then you just see the Death Watch soldiers fly up and they're like, ugh, right? And then they die and Sidious comes in. But this isn't live action, so we don't have to worry about all the weirdness or it's a weird CGI. This is all animated, all right? And he comes in, he's like, I heard rumors that you were still alive, but I guess, they were true. And I see you're building some stuff over here, but I got my own plans for an empire, and if I let you do your thing, you're gonna become a rival. And so he whips out, boom, 2 red lightsabers, and they go at it. It's Maul and his brother versus Sidious, and he is having a time of his life. He's giggling, he's sparring. They're fighting for their life. He's sparring. There's a part where they push him with the Force out the window, and as he's falling, he grabs them, and he's like, "Come along with me." And again, he's giggling. They continue to fight. He hits Savage with the a back slide, he's fucking Piccolo, and he's down. Maul's like, all right, it's time to get serious. So he pulls out the dark saber. So now he has 2 sabers. So they're fighting. Maul gets swept pretty much, and this is the part I hate. Instead of just dying like a true dark side Lord of the Sith, he's like, please have mercy. And so he says mercy, did you forget the rules? And so he starts shocking him. He's like, don't worry, I still got plans with you.
Have mercy. Please.
There is no mercy.
So it still shocks him. This is where we go to the comics, because the whole timeline of the show and everything was all weird. And basically this part, it's kind of short. So Maul's being tortured, I think by Count Dooku or something. Death Watch, his little Mandalorian group, shows up, break him out. He's like, I gotta go to Mother Talzin, figure things out. They're like, this is the Sidious and crew are this is the plan. We wanted to find out where she was because she's super strong with magic. And so, long story short, they end up attacking Maul and Mother Talzin on Dathomir. They kill a bunch of the Night Sisters. They kill Mother Talzin, and Maul is back on his own. He just has him and his Mandalorian group, and they go back to Mandalore. So they're back to Mandalore, and of course things are popping off. The Republic has shown up. It is, all hands on deck. You got the Republic on one side. You got the Republic and kind of the Mandalorians that are against Maul on one side. You got Maul and his Mandalorians on the other side. Things are escalating, and things are about to escalate even more because this is right before this is right before Order 66. So Ahsoka is sent in, which is Anakin's apprentice, in case you didn't know he had one. And she is sent to fight Maul. And they have this great fight. There's a Corridor Digital video where they like talk to like the what's it called? They like stunt people. And the reason this fight looks so good is because they actually like took the footage like beat for beat and like put it into the show. If I find the clip, I'll put it in here. But yeah, so they have this great fight. There's a point where Maul gets the upper hand, but then eventually Ahsoka gets the upper hand. And she's like, he's about to fall. And she's like, take my hand. He's like, nah, like, I'm out of here. But they are able to catch him as he's about to fall. And there's this great moment where he's screaming. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, everything's about to pop off. Like, Sidious just found his new apprentice. Like, everyone's gonna die. Like, we are screwed.
We're all going to burn! We're all going to die! You don't know what you're doing!
But then Order 66 happens. Ahsoka is able to survive, and then I think she helps out like Cody, or is it Rex? She helps out one of the stormtroopers, and they're kind of like trying to make their way out as all the troopers are trying to kill them. And they're like, all right, desperate times calls for desperate measures, right? And so they let out Maul, and they're like, listen, we're not friends, but we kind of need you to start some shenanigans so we can get out of here. And he's like, don't worry, I got this. So he starts doing his shenanigans, and he is able to escape. And that's kind of where we leave him off in the Clone Wars, that is. I believe the next time we see him in the timeline is in Solo, where he just pops up at the very end, and he seems very random. To be like, he's still alive because you didn't know, for like all you fans that didn't watch the Clone Wars. So I can't remember if that part is, I think he's like fully in charge at that point, right? So essentially this new show will fill in Maul being set free, and then that part from Solo. So like it will be that middle part to kind of explain what's been going on. There is an ending to his story that takes place in Star Wars Rebels. I don't want to get into that in this video because again, it's just supposed to be the Clone Wars. But in case you want to know more, there is more to his story, and it does have a definitive ending. If you also go on the Wikipedia, there is like other like interstitial parts that are like, oh, this isn't a comic and this isn't that, and I'm like, whatever. I was trying to stick mainly to the show. I only brought up the comic book part because there was a break in between the seasons. Like it was supposed to be like back to back, but then there was like a year gap, and it was like a whole thing. So like the only way to get the next in between part was that comic. But aside from that, yeah, we just kind of left with Maul being sent off. So I think this would be a good pickup point of like, hey, we sent him off, right? The premise is he's trying to reform everything, and he is also trying to get a new apprentice, right? As far as we know, it seems like he was successful to a certain point with Solo, because he ends up being in charge of Crimson Dawn. So it's kind of interesting to be like, hey, there's more to the story, but like, how is this going to end? I'm interested to see if this show is going to if they're going to give enough space to tell a full-fledged story, or if it's going to be another, Disney product of like, hey, there's really good, and this clearly should have been like 12 episodes, but you only gave it 8, and so it just kind of feels like it just ends. But with Maul being my favorite character of Star Wars, I'm like, yeah, give me more. I already know how his story ends. It's already ended, and I love everything I've gotten so far, at least visually. I haven't gone into the comics other than the one I brought up. So I'm like, yeah, if you want to fill in a story, give me a good chunk of what he's been up to, I'm down for it. All right, so let me know if this is your first time, what you think about the story or of Maul's recap. If you've seen it before, let me know what your favorite part is. And other than that, yeah, just don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.